What is good, everyone? I hope you are all doing well. This is the first Patreon vlog that we're going to be doing here. This is actually going to be the only one that I'm going to be posting to the channel. I know I had said in the video last month where I kind of relaunched the Patreon that, all the Patreon vlogs were going to be exclusive, to Patreon, but I decided to do just this first one here on YouTube as well, just as a sort of a way of introducing it to people, to let people know what is going to be going on over on the Patreon and what they can expect if they decide to go over there. And also, I felt a lot of people an update compared to what I was talking about last time with the health concerns and everything. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing here today. Right now I am on the boardwalk in Asbury Park, kind of a gray, gloomy-ish day, which is kind of nice because there's not a lot of people right now around on the boardwalk, which is good for me because I get a little uneasy when I'm doing recordings like this in public, just with the general public around. If I'm at conventions and stuff like that, it's not so much a big deal, but when I'm just out here with like random people that it's like, what is this guy doing with the camera? It's a little bit unsettling for me sometimes. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't get too bad. But I got a wind filter up there on my Rode Video Mic Pro, so hopefully the audio is not too bad as far as the wind and all of that is concerned. And first off, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who went out onto the Patreon and started contributing over the last month. We went from around $40 a month to just over $400 in a couple of weeks. So that's awesome. That's a huge gain compared to what we were doing before. For this month, being that there's a lot of games coming out right now, you may have noticed in the past week I did quite a few can you run it performance reviews for games coming out on the PC, and we were able to cover quite a few games, and there's going to be a lot more coming out at the end of the month. So basically this month's contributions all went to that. So that's really one of the, that definitely helped out a lot, being able to kind of take the brunt of that cost off of me so that I can buy the games and cover them on the channel, the games that you guys want to cover. So I guess I want to get your feedback on that for future games. If there's any games I didn't cover that I could, or games that are going to be coming out, through the remainder of 2017, AAA titles or otherwise that maybe I might not think to cover, then let me know down in the comments below. I did just get a code for Forza 7, so that's going to be an upcoming video. I'm going to be doing performance analysis on that, but other games coming out that I know I'm going to be covering are like Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, so that's a big one coming out at the end of the month. Destiny 2, once that officially releases on the PC, I should be covering that. Assassin's Creed Origins, all those big games I should be covering here on the channel when they do finally release. But if there's something you think I might not have initially thought to cover, let me know down in the comments below and I will see if I can accommodate you guys on that. The next thing I wanted to mention is the rewards over on the Patreon. So I did send out a mass message to everyone on DMs over on Patreon if you qualified for any of the different tiers of rewards, like getting my direct access email or getting followed back on Twitter so you have access to me on there via DM. So I kind of sent out a mass email to everyone that, for their different tiers and all of that. So if you didn't see that, go check your Patreon DMs if you are one of those donors that would have qualified for a reward. And if you didn't respond back to me yet, if I asked you for, your Twitter handle or something, because there was one of the reward tiers where you would qualify to get a follow back on Twitter, and I had messaged a lot of people over on Patreon, but I only got a couple of responses back. So go check those out. Go check your DMs on Patreon to make sure you're getting all of the rewards that have been promised to you. And if I haven't emailed you yet or messaged you over on Patreon, then definitely let me know and I will reach out to you over there on Patreon DM so that we can get all of everyone's rewards sorted out. But yeah, that gets kind of the preamble out of the way with just a couple of things that I needed to cover for you guys, for at least the Patreon backers and stuff on the channel that I wanted to kind of get across. But yeah, like I mentioned at the start, right now I'm on the boardwalk here in Asbury Park, which is a pretty iconic place here in New Jersey. They filmed a lot of episodes of The Sopranos here, most notably the season finale of season 2, where Tony basically has that dream sequence and he's figuring out who the rat is, which turns out to be, spoiler alert, Big Pussy Bumpin' Sarah. So this is kind of one of the main areas where they film that, and I really like coming down here to just go for walks, get exercise in and things like that. A lot of really nice architecture and things to look at, photograph. This whole area pretty much used to be in complete disrepair. Like, it was just like, it was awful. I remember coming down here just maybe 10 years ago, or maybe even sooner than that, not even that far back, where you would go down, the main drag here on Ocean Ave, and it was nothing but crackheads and prostitutes and a mix of both. So it was not the nice area that it is now, but it's been revitalized. There's been a lot of I guess you can call it gentrification of the area and revitalization. There's lots of new restaurants and artists and things like that coming into the area. The boardwalk has been been fixed up a lot. A lot of the shops down here are also reopening. The building that's behind me back there, that's the casino, which used to be a casino where they would have like a carousel and things. They had like, there was a big section of it they actually took off where they had this big iconic, you know, face called Tilly that was on the side of the building. They ended up taking that down. I think they still do. I think they did, you know, hang on to it, and they did put it somewhere else to keep it sort of preserved, although I'm not really sure where that is. But they've been, you know, restoring that building as well. The inside now has been reopened, but before it was just completely dilapidated, and it would have been a serious danger to ever try to walk into there. So that's why it had been boarded up for years. But they have been working on it, and from what I've read, they're actually trying to make it look as close to possible as the way that it used to. But they'll probably have indoor shops and things, restaurants, and, you know, family stuff, and places for people to go and hang out. So really all good things. I come down here all the time into Asbury Park, not just the boardwalk, but into the town as well, which kind of has a revitalized, like, I guess you can call it almost like a hipstery area. It's very much reminds me of sort of like Portland, Oregon, or certain parts of Seattle, where you just walk around and there's lots of good food, good bars, and things like that. So always a lot going on here in Asbury. So that's why I kind of wanted to do the first vlog here and introduce you guys to my backyard. If you guys have ever heard of the Stone Pony, I'm actually like 50 feet from it. I can see it. It's like literally right there, the Stone Pony. I'll throw in some B-roll of all the stuff that I'm kind of talking about. But yeah, the Stone Pony is right there. It's kind of where like Bruce Springsteen got his start here in Asbury Park. So that's like literally right there. So pretty historic area. Right, so I said at the start that I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on with health, weight, diet, and all of that. So let's get into that and touch on it a bit now. Since the last vlog, I've been doing a lot better. I've increased my water intake. I had initially started right after that vlog. I went and started doing a detox, which went really well. And between the Patreon announcement last month and now, I've lost a total of 11 pounds. So that's going really well. Just, you know, a lot of people had suggested, like, oh, cut out like soda, sugary beverages, and things like that. I was not drinking those to begin with. All I pretty much drink is water, unsweetened tea, and black coffee. That's pretty much all that I drink. I don't really have a large obvious sugar intake. Obviously there are the things like carbohydrates, so I've been trying to reduce that as well. One of the biggest areas, which has been the most challenging honestly, has been things like beer and whiskey. I like sampling lots of different beers and, you know, trying different IPAs, lots of different whiskeys. In case anyone's curious, one of my favorite whiskey is probably Bullet Bourbon or Bullet Rye. I like both of those quite a bit. Redemption Rye is also good, and I dabble in a little bit of scotches, but mostly I tend to stick with bourbons or ryes, and also Irish whiskeys. If you have a favorite whiskey or something you want to recommend to me, down in the comments below, let me know. Although I've been cutting that back quite a bit because it's just so high in the sugar content, and in beer obviously is a huge carbohydrate, lots of carbs in that, especially with IPAs, the kinds that I like to drink, like Carton Brewing, which is a somewhat local brewery down in Atlantic Highlands, not that far from here. So their beers are pretty hoppy. They've got like 7.5% alcohol, but they are absolutely delicious. And I know the whiskeys are pretty high in sugar too, so I've been kind of cutting back on that stuff as well. It's not to the point where I was like an alcoholic and I needed to drink every day, but I just like to try different things. I like to try different whiskeys, different beers. I guess I don't know. Like one of my favorite channels here on YouTube is called the Whiskey Vault. That's my favorite, but it's one of my favorites where they kind of talk about whiskeys and everything like that. So yeah, I'm quite the whiskey aficionado, you might even say. So I've been cutting back on that stuff. I've also been doing walks here, as well as at a nearby lake, which kind of has a big track that goes around that's almost exactly a mile if you go around the entire thing. So I've been doing laps there. I've been coming here and walking the boardwalk and trying to, you know, keep track and eat less and all that. And so far it's been going well. And thank you to everyone that made suggestions down in the comments on the last video talking about the weight loss and all of that and the health concerns. I definitely take pretty much everything people recommend to heart and try to analyze it. If it's something I haven't heard of before, I'll certainly go out and try to Google it and get as much information on everything as possible. Next up is the logo. I know I had said I was going to be working on a redesign for the logo, which is coming along pretty well. I'll throw up a couple of images now here of what I've been working on. I've also been posting that stuff over on Twitter, which is always a good way to kind of keep up to date with what I'm working on more consistently and more frequently, I should say. I'm always posting stuff over on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'm at Joker Reviews. You can always hit me up over there and see what's going on in my life and all of that. So yeah, like I said, I'm still working on the logo. Once I get it finalized, I'll go ahead and throw it onto a t-shirt, and then we could launch the shop here on the channel. And I believe there was only one platinum donor which is the $100 a month donor tier, which is guaranteed to get a shirt. So, like I said, probably by the end of October, I should have a finalized design, and then we can get the winners out, the rewards out to the people that are qualified to get the t-shirts and everything. So yeah, that'll be coming pretty soon. Right now I kind of have a couple of ideas, but it's sort of similar to what I already had before with the JP, but I just wanted to simplify it. I've been messing around with including things like motherboard circuits and tracers that I think will kind of fit into the theme of the channel. I'm just trying to, you know, figure out the way that I want to do it best, and maybe once I have a few different versions, maybe I'll post it up on Twitter and get your guys' feedback to vote on it. Something along those lines. So I really can't, you know, emphasize enough that that's a great place to follow me if you want to, you know, have your opinion heard. And I'll probably post it on the Patreon as well if I do something like that, and I need to get your guys' opinion on a final shirt and logo design. Also, just wanted to update everyone on some upcoming content. So for videos, I already mentioned I'm going to be doing that Forza PC analysis video. I'm going to be testing AMD and NVIDIA cards because it is, you know, DirectX 12. I definitely want to see how much of an advantage we could see on the AMD cards, because we know that those tend to handle DirectX 12 really well. So I'll be curious to see how something even like Vega 56 versus the GTX 1080 will hold up. If Vega 56 can catch up to the 1080 just because it's on DirectX 12, that could be an interesting concept for just a whole video altogether, not just necessarily on Forza, but maybe on many video games. So stay tuned. I've got ideas brewing. Also going to be doing a video this week on the AVA Avant-Garde system, which I previously had shown in the Is SLI Really Worth It video. So that'll be coming up pretty soon here. I'll be doing a full overview on that and kind of analyzing the cost of what the system is directly from a pre-built system from someone like AVA Direct versus if you went out and bought all the parts yourself, to see if it's really worth the added cost. Of course, you get, you know, a really nice system pre-built for you. You got warranties and stuff like that. So I'll kind of be, you know, looking at all of that and seeing if it is really worth it at the end of the day. And the last one that I know right now, at least in the back of my mind, is the new Pixio PX277. I just got that in for testing. The first one that I got, was actually having some issues. I was having some frame skipping at 144 hertz. If I knocked it down to 120 hertz, the issue was completely gone. But after conferring with Wendell over at Level 1 Techs, who also got the monitor from Pixio, who is not having that issue, I determined that it is probably just a defective sample that I've received. So I've already been in touch with my contact over at Pixio, and they've sent me a return label so that I could send it back to them, and they'll send me out a new one so that I could test a good working model here on the channel. Kind of unfortunate that happened, but you know, that's the way these things go sometimes on brand new product releases. But otherwise, the monitor looks great, really slim and just gorgeous looking, especially compared to the previous Pixio PX277, which was 2560 by 1440, 144 hertz, IPS, and it still managed to retain all of that, but they put it into a much nicer package, better looking stand, almost no bezels whatsoever, and very thin. So really looking forward to finally doing that video for you guys here on the channel. I've been waiting for that monitor for quite a while. But that is really going to wrap it up for this month's Patreon. Thank you once again to everyone that backed the channel. If you're seeing your name up on the screen right now, it's because you've reached one of the tiers that qualified to have your name mentioned in the vlog every month. So thank you to all of you guys who are supporting this channel. I could not be doing this without you. Like I said, this month alone, you know, the going from $40 a month to over $400 a month on the Patreon has allowed me to purchase all of the games that I'm covering this month and then some. So I'm definitely grateful to you guys from the bottom of my heart. So thank you to all of you. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.